Welcome, everyone. One of the best ways to prepare for the IELTS speaking test is to see it in action. That's exactly what we're doing today with this complete mock test from Spinta. As you listen, think about what the candidate does well and where they could improve. Afterwards, we'll compare notes with a full performance breakdown. Let's begin.
Hello, my name is Emma. Can I have your full name, please?
Hello Emma, my name is Alex Martin. I was born in a small town, but moved for work when I was younger, so my full name is Alex Jonathan Martin, and most people just call me Alex at work and with friends.
Thank you. Where do you live now?
I live in the city center of a mid-sized city now. I moved here about 5 years ago for a job, and I rent a small flat near my office, which is convenient because I can walk to work and to shops in the evening, so life is quite practical for me.
Do you work or study at the moment?
I am working as a project coordinator in a tech company. My job involves organizing meetings, tracking deadlines, and communicating with clients. I enjoy the variety, but sometimes it is stressful because there is a lot of multitasking. However, I have learned to prioritize, and that helps me to manage workload.
Do you enjoy your work?
Yes, I do enjoy it overall. I like the team environment and the challenges, though there are days when tasks pile up. I try to see those moments as opportunities to improve my skills, and I sometimes take online courses to keep up with new project methods.
Let's move on. Tell me about your hometown.
My hometown is a coastal place with friendly people and simple lifestyle. It is not very big, but it has a strong community spirit. I go back there to visit my parents when I can, because I enjoy quiet walks by the sea and the slower pace, which is quite different compared to the busy city life here.
Has it changed much recently?
Yes, it has changed a bit. There are more cafes and some new small businesses, and the local council has worked on improving the waterfront. It feels like the place is slowly modernizing while trying to keep its traditional character, which I appreciate when I visit.
Okay. What do you do in your free time?
In my free time, I enjoy listening to music and playing the guitar. I am very interested about music from different countries, and sometimes I try to learn songs in other languages. Playing helps me relax after work, and I often meet a few friends once a week to practice together, or just chat and drink coffee.
Do you prefer social activities or being alone?
I prefer a mix of both. I like social activities because they are energizing, but I also value quiet evenings alone to read or practice guitar. Balance is important for me because constant socializing can be tiring, while too much solitude makes me feel disconnected.
Thank you. That is the end of part 1. Now part 2. Describe a memorable journey you made recently. You should say where you went, who you went with, what you did, and explain why it was memorable. You have 1 minute to prepare, and then speak for about 1.5 to 2 minutes.
A recent memorable journey was a weekend trip to the mountains with 2 close friends. We rented a small cabin, hiked up to a ridge on the first day, and watched the sunset, then cooked together and talked late into the night. The following morning we tried a difficult trail which tested our stamina, but the views were worth it. It was memorable because it was the first time in a while I felt disconnected from screens and obligations, and the conversations we had were honest and meaningful. The physical exertion and the silence of the mountains made me appreciate simple things like fresh air and friendship, and we promised to do something similar each year.
Right, how often do you travel like that?
I try to travel this way a couple of times a year. Work limits me sometimes, but whenever there is an opportunity, I prefer short trips rather than long holidays, because they are easier to plan and still very refreshing.
Thank you. Let's move on to part 3. Do you think travel is important for personal development?
Yes, I think travel contributes a lot to personal development. When you travel, you face new situations and must adapt, which builds confidence and problem solving. Also, you meet people with different views that can change your perspective. For me, travel helped to become more independent and open-minded, especially when dealing with unexpected challenges on the road.
How has transportation changed people's travel habits?
Transportation improvements have made travel faster and more accessible. Budget flights and better trains mean people can visit places for shorter periods and more often. However, this convenience sometimes reduces the depth of experience because trips are hurried. I think better transport is positive, but it also makes planning for meaningful experiences more important.
What role does technology play in planning trips nowadays?
Technology plays a major role. Apps let you compare prices, read reviews, and book instantly. Social media also influences choices through photos and recommendations. While it is useful, there is a risk of relying too much on curated images, rather than discovering things yourself. I try to use tech for logistics, but leave some space for spontaneity.
Do you think travel will change in the future?
I think travel will change in response to environmental concerns and new tech. There might be more sustainable transport and virtual experiences for those unable to travel. Personalization will increase, with itineraries tailored to interests. If I would have known how quickly climate issues would escalate, I would went on more nature trips earlier, so future choices will likely weigh sustainability more heavily.
Interesting. Is it better to travel alone or with others?
Both have benefits. Traveling with others is enjoyable, because you share memories and split costs, while solo travel allows complete freedom and introspection. For learning about yourself and facing challenges, solo is valuable, but for comfort and shared experiences, group travel is preferable. I alternate between the two depending on the trip purpose.
Okay. That is the end of the speaking test. Thank you.
The candidate demonstrated Band 7.5 level performance. Notable errors included saying, "I am very interested about music," when the correct form is, "I am very interested in music," and "if I would have known, I would went there," when it should be, "If I had known, I would have gone there." Another occasional error was, "I have been lived here for 5 years," instead of, "I have lived here for 5 years." These errors were occasional and mostly appeared when the candidate used complex grammar or moved quickly in speech. They did not prevent understanding. Fluency was strong with natural flow, only minor hesitations like "I mean" and brief self-corrections. Vocabulary was wide and appropriate for most topics, though there was slight imprecision in a couple of phrases. Grammatically, the candidate handled a range of structures well, but showed weaknesses with third conditional and some prepositions. This performance merits Band 7.5 because communication was clear and coherent, ideas were developed, and vocabulary was varied, but the few systematic errors in complex structures prevented a higher band. To reach the next band, the candidate should focus on eliminating conditional and preposition errors and polishing accuracy under pressure, while maintaining natural fluency. Thank you for practicing with this IELTS speaking mock test. Visit Spinta for more comprehensive mock tests and personalized feedback to boost your IELTS score.